Yellow! Welcome back to another video in relation to my reacting series that I'm going to start doing on my channel. She is back at it again. Huda Beauty is on a roll when it comes to cosmetics, when it comes to anything in relation to beauty. This girl is literally releasing product after product and it continues to be phenomenal as social media and YouTube depict it to be. We were just given a reveal of her new eyeshadow palette. It was announced that the Rose Gold Edition palette that she had released, her very first eyeshadow palette, is being put to an end. It is going to be discontinued because we want to, I guess, focus all the attention on her new Desert Dusk palette. Honestly, all these freaking names are just... Trend Mood was the page where I got all the information from, the pictures, kind of what the shadow shades will look like, and I have to say, what a beautiful and freaking amazing looking palette. Although there are some shades that can not necessarily resemble other shades from the Rose Gold Edition palette, there are some very similar but nothing the same. I mean, this is a whole new kind of creation. I will insert some pictures within the screen of what the palette looks like in a whole. It is so beautiful. I'm looking at it actually right now on my phone. It is just amazing. You have your pretty like terracotta, orangey colors, browns, and then you have like pinky red ones as well. And I think it's such a great mixture because everybody loves their neutrals. So I have the palette here on my screen actually in full. So the shades are very neutral aside from maybe some that are a little more out of the ordinary, or there are some very like shimmery glittery colors as well, like this purple one. Well, this iridescent purpley pink with a little bit of like specks of red in it. And then you have Amethyst, which is like the purple one. Those are probably the only two that are like out of the box. They're different, they're creative, and I don't think she has done that. Yeah, I don't think she had any like purpley shades. I think she had like a bright pink in the Rose Gold Edition palette. After looking at the palette, the first thing that I thought of was, aside from, like I said, there's some very diverse colors in there from many other neutral palettes. The palette that I say this resembles the most is a mixture of the Morphe 350 palette. So let me get it open. So I'm saying personally, in my opinion, this is what the palette looks like. It is a mixture between Rose Gold palette and the Modern Renaissance. I personally think that some of them can resemble some other like similar shades from different palettes. Like for instance, from the Modern Renaissance palette, Primavera looks similar to Nefertiti, and then the orange one, Blazing, from the Huda Beauty palette kind of looks like Real Gar a little bit. Like this one I feel like is a little more on the warmer side. It's more orangey than this one. This one is like more of like a terracotta orangey kind of shade. But either way, it is different on its own. The palette has so many different colors that can work with other kind of like transition-y colors in the palette. So I think overall it is going to be phenomenal. So you were given 8 matte shades, 6 pressed pearls, so I'm assuming those are like the glittery ones, and then 3 duochrome toppers. So those are the glittery ones that have kind of that like iridescent duochrome like finish. So the finishes are matte, foil, glittery, and sheer. There are 24 shades in the palette, and the fact that you are given 4 different finishes is phenomenal because for people who are just beginners, this palette can be just like the one palette that you have. You don't have to get multiple palettes because you will have your transition mattes, you will have your like shimmery lid colors, and then if you want to like play around and have those like Coachella vibes, you have your duochrome shades. So now the question is, would I purchase this palette? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I just think that I just want to say, if you own Modern Renaissance, if you own Morphe 350, or just any Morphe like palettes that are half shimmer, half matte, I think you can skip out on this palette because you might just be repeating some of, you know, those shades that you like similarly have. Do I think the palette is unique? In a way, yes. In a way, not really. And when I say not really, I'm talking about some of the shades. They look very repetitive. The reason I'm saying yes, it is unique is because you were given like a couple duochrome shimmer shades to like play around with. So that's cool. That's like, that gives it kind of that unique vibe. But I mean, overall, I don't think it's that unique, just because a lot of palettes like this have kind of been done before. You know, when you think of like Desert Dusk, desert, you immediately think of like fall colors, you know what I mean? Like warmer colors, oranges, pretty like pinky purples, like, you know what I mean? So I think that like if you own anything similar, like Modern Renaissance for instance, Morphe 350, or just like any of the other Morphe palettes, you could skip out on this like palette, especially that it's probably going to be 80 bucks, just like the rose gold one. Like I'm looking at some swatches of the palette and they look beautiful, like the iridescent like duochrome purpley pink one, I think it was called Twilight, looks so cool to work with. Like obviously I don't think it's gonna be like an everyday kind of shade, it's gonna be more for like festival season. I do these videos because I want people to have kind of like another perspective of what they're seeing. So like what if you want to get it but you don't know, you want that kind of like second perspective, just to be like, okay, like if he likes it, maybe like I'll like, if he doesn't, like maybe I won't, I don't know. For anybody who's watching, if anybody is ever freaking watching me, I will talk to y'all later. T2Iles.